What the heck is a CBDC? Do you know what a CBDC is? I'm going to talk about that in this upcoming video. CBDCs, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's get into it. Alright, so let's get into it here. Investopedia says CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, are forms of digital currency issued by a country's central bank. They're similar to cryptocurrencies, except that their value is fixed by the central bank and equivalent to the country's fiat currency value. So now that you know a little bit more about what a CBDC is, let's get into the good. There's a couple good reasons why CBDCs could be helpful. And the main reason is that millions and billions of people could have more access to money. Central banks could quickly and easily increase financial inclusion, allowing all of their citizens to create and hold funds at the central bank, and that would give more access to financial services for the unbanked and underbanked members of their society. Another primary benefit of CBDCs is they would provide serious competition for existing payment systems like credit cards, debit cards, merchant transactions. A much more transparent central bank backed option would definitely reduce the transactional fees that are associated with normal day-to-day life. Let's talk about the bad. CBDCs might result in heightened levels of control central banks and governments could exert. Also, now that there's more people with digital terminals and ways to access their money, if that government stability ever became unstable, if there was a loss of confidence, you could have massive bank runs. Instead of going physically to the bank, you would just be able to withdraw a lot easier. And that might not be such a good thing. All right, the ugly aspect of CBDCs is they would centralize money even more and preserve the oligopoly power of financial institutions. With the new digital toolkits that these central banks would have, they could monitor, record, analyze, and tax every transaction. And that could be a good thing, but it also could be a bad thing. It depends on your intention, but also it depends on the intention of these central banks and government agencies. In 2018, China used something called behavioral crimes to track 23 million people. And those people were prevented from buying plane tickets and train tickets. Now, maybe that watch list is a good thing or a bad thing, but also the criteria for which somebody gets on that watch list. I mean, a watch list like that could have prevented terrorist crimes. So again, it's good, bad, and ugly, but it really depends on the accountability and the government behind it. I mean, at the end of the day, what would stop central banks from abusing this power in conjunction with state security or political officials to confiscate user funds? This is where a lot of the distrust comes into play, where all of a sudden you can't use your wallet to pay for things, or they're tracking you, or all of a sudden all of your money is gone and the government just takes it. This is when we start getting into those scenarios of sci-fi movies and dystopian societies that we've seen already in different movies and television shows. It gets a little bit scary and it could get pretty ugly. So what's the bottom line? CBDCs are going to happen. It's a certainty, because the global demand is going to require innovation from central banks and governments. Whether CBDCs are going to work, it really depends on faith and trust that a central bank and other related government offices will not abuse their newfound power. Post in the comments if you have faith and trust that these government agencies and the central bank will not be abusing their newfound power. So hopefully during this short video, you are able to gain some knowledge about CBDCs, have some understanding, be able to have intelligent conversation with others, equip yourself with what's happening with cryptocurrency, what's happening with money around the world. If this video was helpful, please share it, tag someone else in the comments, ask a question. We'd love to continue to have a conversation with you about it. This is Sammy Chan from Axe Token, and we'll talk to you soon.